All right, let's get this baby born. Whew. It's been a while. I've been waiting for a long time. Anyway, so welcome back to Bible Time with Emily. My name is Emily, and guess what time it is? You guessed it, it's Bible time. So we are in Genesis chapter 21, verse 1. So it says, now the Lord was gracious to Sarah as he said, and the Lord did for Sarah what he had promised. Sarah became pregnant and bore a son to Abraham in his old age at the very time God had promised him. Abraham gave the name Isaac to the son Sarah had bore him. So, if you go back, you remember that God said to Abraham, and Sarah heard that this time next, well, no, she didn't hear. That's right. He didn't tell her. Anyway, he said this time next year, you're going to have a baby. And guess what time it is? It's that time. So here she is with the baby. And then the child, so we're going to skip over to verse 8. And it says, the child grew and was weaned. On the day Isaac was weaned, Abraham held a great feast. But Sarah saw that the son, and they're not going to say his name, which I find very interesting, that throughout all of this probably the whole episode, they're never going to say his name. And it goes a step further, but we'll get to that in a second. But Sarah saw that the son whom Hagar, the Egyptian, had born to Abraham was mocking. So here it is. He's having a big feast, a big party, because so when the baby's weaned, that means he's no longer in the baby phase. He's a big kid, and that means that the mama doesn't have to breastfeed anymore. He can eat solid food, eat at the table, and eat the food everybody else eats. Anyway, so the son, that Egyptian Hagar, that Hagar's son, the son that Hagar had with Abraham, and if you don't know that story, you can go back to the episode that's called "And the Drama Begins," because here it is, a few episodes later, this drama is still continuing, and like I said before, the drama will continue even till today. So anyway, but had been mocking, and she said to Abraham, get rid of that slave woman and her son, for the slave woman's son will never share in the inheritance with my son Isaac. So she's like, Abraham, do something about this. Even though it was totally her fault, she started the whole thing, and it's all her doing. I mean, yes, Abraham has, had choice in this matter, but he didn't. But originally it was her. Well, he is the head of the... Okay. Anyway, so she's like, do something, Abraham. So the matter distressed Abraham greatly because it concerned his son. But God said to him, do not be distressed about the boy and your maidservant. Listen to whatever Sarah tells you, because it is through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned. I will make the son of the maidservant, again, not saying his name, I will make the son of the maidservant into a nation also, because he is your offspring. So when God makes you a promise, he keeps it. Okay, so God promised Abraham that he will bless his descendants. And the son of the maidservant, which I'm going to tell you his name if you forgot, his name is Ishmael, will also be made into a great nation. Okay, so because he is Abraham's offspring, not the even though he's not the promised son, he's still his offspring. So early the next morning, Abraham took some food and a skin of water and gave it to Hagar and set them on her shoulders and set her off with the boy. Again, no name. She went on her way and wandered into the desert of Beersheba. Okay, so does this sound familiar? It's kind of deja vu, right? That she's off going out into the desert once again. But let's see what it says. When the water in the skin was gone, she put the boy under one of the bushes. Now, okay, so listen. So when Sarah got pregnant, the boy was already 13 years old. So now that the baby's 3, Ishmael should be about 16 years old. So we're talking about a 6-year-old boy here, okay? When the water in the skin was gone, she put the boy under one of the bushes. Then she went off and sat down nearby and bow shot away. for she thought, I cannot watch the boy die. Again, no name. And she sat there nearby, began to sob. God heard the boy crying. Again, no name. I feel really sad that this is a no-named boy. I mean, we know his name, but still. God heard the boy crying, and the angel of God called Hagar from heaven and said to her, what is the matter, Hagar? Do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying as he lies there. Lift the boy up and take him by the hand, for I will make him into a great nation. So, he's letting her in on the promise that she made Abraham, that he will make him into a great nation. But I don't know if she knows why. God was with the boy. So we're now on verse 20. God was with the boy as he grew, and he lived in the desert and became an archer. While he was living in the desert of Paran, his mother got a wife for him from Egypt. So she's looking out for him. God is looking out for him. He's living in the desert. He became an archer. He's doing good. Okay, so no. Okay, so now we're going to skip over to chapter 22. And it says, sometime later, God tested Abraham. He said to him, Abraham. And here I am, he replied. Then God said, take your son, your only son, Isaac, whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on the one of the mountain that I will tell you about. Early the next morning, Abraham got up and saddled his donkey, took him with two of his servants and his son Isaac. When he had cut the wood enough for burnt offering, he set out for the place God told him about. On the third day, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. He said to his servant, stay here with the donkey while I and the boy go over there. He will worship, and then we will come back to you. So, okay, I'm thinking that some time has gone by where the boy's older. Isaac is older, and only because of the conversation that he has with his father. So the boy's a little bit older, and apparently, I mean, this is, taking sacrifices to the altar to God is a regular thing, sometimes 2 times a year or more. And so the boy already knows the drill. He already knows the process. He already knows what he's doing. So that's why it wasn't until at this moment that he's like, Dad, aren't you forgetting something? So let's see. He says, stay here with the donkey while I and the boy go over there. We will worship, and then we will come back to you. That's real. Okay, listen. So listen, okay? Listen to what he says. So he tells the servants that he took with him and his son, he says, stay here with the donkey while I and the boy go over there. We will worship, and then we will come back to you. He knows. Okay, let's go back. So God says, hey, Abraham, you know that boy that I promised you? I want you to go and take him and get sacrificed. I want you to sacrifice the boy. Now, where in there, did I skip any verses? No, I did not skip any verses. Abraham did not argue with him. He did not question. I'm sure he had questions. But he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna. I mean, I know that God gave me this child as a gift, and the same way he gave me this gift, he can give me many other gifts. I don't know what he was thinking. It doesn't say what he was thinking, but I'm sure there was tons of stuff going on in his brain, and the thing is, he was obedient. He was obedient to God, and that is what is credited to him as righteousness. He wasn't always good. He didn't make good choices, not always made good choices, but he was obedient to the Lord, and that was credited to him as righteousness. Okay, so here he is taking his son. He finally had the boy, Isaac, the promised son, and now here he is. God is asking him to sacrifice him. But he knows that God has a plan. And that's how we need to be. We need to know, this sounds crazy, but I know you have a plan. I might not know what your plan is, but I trust that you have a plan. And you love me. And I know your plan is for the best, no matter what the outcome is. So, but he knew. He says, we will come back. Anyway, so verse 6. Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and placed it on his son Isaac. And he himself carried the fire and the knife. As the two of them kept on together, Isaac spoke up and said to his father, Father? Yes, my son, Abraham replied. The fire and the wood are here, Isaac said, but where's the lamb for the burnt offering? Abraham answered, God himself will provide the lamb. Oh, I mean, what a walk. I mean, put yourself there. There's your son. And Abraham has this faith in God that even to the last minute, he's like, I know you have a plan, God. I know you have a plan, and I'm trusting you. I'm going to trust you with all that I am. That's how I want to be. I want to be like that. And I hope I'm like that. Anyway, don't ask God to test you. Anyway, okay, so I'm at already 11 minutes. Okay, so the fire, Abraham answered, God himself will provide the lamb. You know what? This is actually a good time to be continued. To see, what does God do? What does God do? What does Abraham do? Is he going to sacrifice his son? What is the... Anyway, I'll see you next time. To be continued.